Well, having much fun here on Morning Live this morning. Now, South African musician and songwriter Langa Mavuso describes his music as urban soul. Now, his 2016 EP, Liminal Sketches, was an impactful introduction to the industry. And of course, his debut album, how do I say this?
Langa.
Langa.
Yes.
Yeah, Langa. Because I tell you, it was not written as Langa. But anyway, that was nominated for the Best R&B and Soul album for the 2020 South African Music Awards. Now, Mavuso has also been announced as the supporting act for the American Grammy Award winner jazz musician Lalah Hathaway, who will be making her way to South Africa in an intimate evening with Lalah Hathaway, a 4-concert tour of Johannesburg and Cape Town in January. Langa, thanks so much for coming through and welcome to Morning Live. So let's talk about you and what you've been up to.
Oh, it's been a busy year. I've just come off of a tour with Boys to Men. We did Standard Bank Joy of Jazz. I'm doing Lalah Hathaway in January, and then obviously there's a bunch of shows in between. I just wrapped a television show as well. So it's been a very busy, quite fruitful year.
So you're living your best life, in other words?
I'm trying to, you know, every single day I'm just like, what can we do better? What can we do better?
And of course, you know, it's all about you. It's about, you know, your growth, you making your own mark and, you know, appearing alongside some of these very established artists. How does that help you build your career?
I think that from a very young age, I've always wanted to be in this space. I dreamt of the stage for a very, very long time. And so my preparation at the National School of the Arts really got me ready for the stage and for the different kinds of impactful moments that would come. Going on to UCT and studying with many prolific musicians taught me humility, but also the importance of preparation. And so I think the first big show that I did was Kenny Latimore, which was a year ago. And then I did Tamia this year, Boys to Men. And then being one of the headlining artists for Joy of Jazz was just really... It was mind-blowing to me because I grew up with parents who loved attending Joy of Jazz. And so I was one of those little kids who was dragged along to those little festivals. And so it was really, really special for me.
Yeah, and I was saying to you, you know, you are living your best life, but it seems, and no one can take this away from you because it is your time, Langa.
Absolutely. I think that when everything aligns, you just have to go with it, you know, and be ready for it and continue to have the discipline to flourish in it.
So with all that's happening, you know, you are just there with everybody else. Yeah. So are you collaborating? Are you striking any sorts of deals? What's going on?
Do you know, I had already finished my album, which comes out next year, and I just didn't feel like there was anything in particular that felt like it needed any of that collaboration. But I do have their contacts now, and I do have a regular conversation, which allows me to have that door open always. But the album really focuses on celebrating ourselves as young African musicians, and so that's where my focus has been, especially with this album.
So what does that mean for you? What is it that Langa Mavuso wants to bring out and have us resonate with?
So I think most of my music is centered and rounded about love, the yearning for it, the loss of it, the joy of it. And so I really love to cultivate an energy of love and healing and goodness. And I think this year has been a bit of a difficult one in the beginning. I had gone through some really tough situations, but just knowing that I was able to be resilient and feel like I'm in a time and a place of restoration allowed me to be inspired in that kind of way and wanting to speak about the fact that restoration is possible and it's a beautiful thing that still exists for us all.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So who or what holds you up? What grounds you?
Oh, man. God, my family, my friends. I am so blessed to have a support system that really keeps me just humble and grateful for life. You know, they really make sure that I am celebrated, but also know that I'm still a son, I'm still a brother, I'm still a friend, and it's important to remember that always. And so it's quite nice to come home and not have to be anything but yourself.
Yeah. And for your fans, you know, when you are busy with a project,
Yes.
where do the fans, your support base, where do they feature in that process?
Well, to be honest with you, in the process of creating and writing, I'm not attached to the outcome, and I'm not attached to what they might want from me, because I think then creativity falls out of the window when that starts to happen, because then I'd be swaying to whatever is happening currently and wanting to remain relevant. I think I'm one of the few artists in South Africa who takes their time in recording albums and taking that process quite seriously. And so the fans, I trust that they trust me. And that's the kind of relationship that I have with my process of creation, knowing that if you were able to embrace me and receive me the way that you have before, then you know my heart and you know my intent is always to give you the best work.
Okay, Langa Mavuso, and loving all of that soul and the grounding.